everyone, how's it going? It's that nerd Ryan here, and today we're doing the review that I've been dreading to do. That is Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I knew since I bought the game this was going to be a terrible review, and honestly, I can't tell if it's a lot worse than I expected, or a lot better than I expected, or the same. Because there are good aspects of this game, but there's a lot of bad aspects too. So we're going to talk about one thing first. It was the one thing that I barely played because I did not enjoy it. I do want to disclaim this by I've played a lot of Warzone. I've enjoyed Warzone. We're going to talk about Blackout first. I played one round of Blackout. It is Warzone with a crummier paint and crummier mechanics. Obviously, this was kind of like the beta for Warzone, but it was not enjoyable at all. I really didn't care for it one bit. Next, let's talk about the campaign. Next, let's talk about multiplayer. So, I did play the multiplayer, and I got, I think, to like level 25 maybe. I made sure every day that I played a zombies map and about 5 rounds of team deathmatch, since that is like the main Call of Duty live service, I want to say, besides Warzone now. What I would like to say is the gameplay is very fun in the multiplayer, choosing your operator. My main was Zero. Using the operator's abilities as your grenade. I didn't really customize my character that much. I didn't get into it that much. I used a submachine gun and basically kind of just played through. I got good at it, and it's very fast-paced from what I remember as a kid. Now let's get to the bad stuff about multiplayer. The first one is hard to actually complain about just due to the fact that this is an 8-year-old game. There are a lot of people that are either very good at this game because it's a older game, or there are a lot of people who hack and get stuff in who it's an older game, so that they don't have service as much as Modern Warfare 3 does right now. With that, kill streaks are very overpowered in this. For example, the Sniper's Nest, stuff like that. People would spam Sniper's Nest, and if you are literally taking 3 steps, you get sniped. It was a little too overpowered to the point where if your team started losing by 5 points or more, next minute you'll be losing by 20, 25 points. The game is already over. There would be matches where I would lose or win 30 to 100, and then there would be some matches where it would be a very close call. The close call matches were the most fun. The one where somebody just was able to get a 25 kill streak and then literally spam Sniper's Nest, it wasn't fun. Another thing on that, with that, is the fact that, like I said, this is a very fast-paced version than what I remember. So you can have a 5-person kill streak within a minute of gameplay. Because line up, do that, use your special, blah, 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 it would be like that. With that, it was very hard to get the hang of if you were in a team that did not have a super good player and or hacker, whatever it was. The next part I want to talk about is the maps. This is a very big point of contention to me. This is something that I am actually upset about. From what I've noticed, there is only 1, maybe 2 original maps in the Black Ops 4 multiplayer. Maybe I just kept getting into the remake map matches and I didn't get to see the other ones. The 100% original one that I really enjoyed was the zombie map, where it incorporated all the different zombies like it was a movie set. And then the other one, I don't know if it was original or if it's based off of maybe a Black Ops 3 map, was the Armory one, where it kind of felt like the zombie map, but it was just using scenes from Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2. On that, every other map was a remake of classic Black Ops maps. Now, if this game was released and at a cheaper price and did not have a Season's Pass that was about the same price as the game, if not more, I wouldn't complain about that. But this is a main release with the Black Ops title that only had mostly remakes on it. So I know for certain, I didn't get it when it came out, but Black Ops 4 is not worth $110 at all. Which we will talk about that more at the end. Luckily, I got this game used, so I only had to pay for the Season Pass, which however many years old game, 5 years, 6 years, whatever. I thought I heard somebody on chat call it an 8-year-old game, but I think that's Black Ops 3. Season Pass should not be full price anymore. Or you should not have to buy the Season Pass to get all the Zombies maps, which we'll talk about in a second on that as well. But I do feel that this should have been either DLC for Black Ops 3, or it should have been a Game of the Year edition sort of thing, where it's just a greatest hits of Black Ops 1 through 3, and that's it. Improved and moved up on. Now, let's talk about the main draw of this game. What I think is really cool was Zombies is the main draw of Black Ops 4. It is the main push point. It released with 3 maps, ended with 8 maps, which I think is either the highest or the second highest map release on a Call of Duty game. And it is disappointing. So we do get 2 separate timelines on this, or 2 separate storylines. The Chaos storyline, which has 4 original maps technically. I know people are going to say 3, but considering the mechanics and everything, 4 Night of the Dead, I believe it's called, Dead of the Night, it's in the Chaos storyline. So you get the 2 storylines. Everything in Chaos is original content. Everything in the premise / Victus / other team that I can't remember their name, Ultimus, sorry, is remakes. Which is disappointing. There's one that isn't technically a remake, but is at the same time. And then the other ones are added on with remake factors. So what I mean by that is, let's talk about Chaos first. Chaos introduced a full new cast of characters: Scarlet, Bruno, Diego, and old guy. I can't remember the old guy's name. That shows how much we really care about these characters. The maps are beautiful. The setting's fun. I do feel like the idea of the story is kind of weak, and I know it's due to the fact that they did erase the final Chaos map. So the order goes Voyage of Despair, 9, Dead of the Night, which is the celebrity one, and then the last one, which I think is called, I can't remember what it's called. It's like something to do with gods. I will look that up really quick. Let's see. Chaos Story Maps. So it goes Voyage of Despair. I'm trying to see. Of course, that only talks about Voyage of Despair and 9, but not Ancient Evil. Sorry. But yeah, so Ancient Evil, I think, even though I couldn't remember the name, was my favorite. Voyage of Despair was really cool. So let's just talk about the maps really quick. So Voyage of Despair is based off of the Titanic crash, but instead of the crash, it's zombies. And this is a real, like, authentic remake look of how the Titanic was set up. So you could explore the Titanic, and when you die in this, you don't die in real life. You're not submerged underwater. You're getting attacked by zombies, which is a cooler way to go out than throwing millions of dollars to, you know, explore in a tin can. But, yeah, basically, you explore it with your friends. You go and do some tasks, which I never got to be able to do. We'll talk about the Easter eggs at the end because I want to have a whole segment of that. I did not get to do the Easter eggs, but I did attempt to start them. Unlocking Pack-a-Punch on this is pretty fun. But yeah, and you get insane elemental boss types and stuff like that in the Chaos story, which you're kind of introduced to here. You also get specialist weapons automatically, which we'll talk about that more with gameplay. But it's a very beautiful and fun map. The Chaos characters that you're introduced to in here, I'm not a big fan of. They're okay, but yeah. The next map after that is 9, which is based off of the Roman gods and Roman Colosseum, which is very fun and very cool. For a Colosseum map, it is very expansive. It kind of turns into a labyrinth map too, which is very cool because you go off the side doors, you explore areas. Instead of dogs, there's tigers that you have to fight. And just basically, the map is the way Die Rise should have been. It's vertical, but there's easy ways to navigate it. The next one is Dead of the Night, which again, it's the famous one. It's a murder mystery. I don't know any of the actors except for Helena Bonham Carter, but you basically explore this mansion, fight zombies, and it's kind of like a murder mystery from what I understood from playing it. After that, you have Ancient Evil, which is based off of Greek gods and stuff like that. This one was really cool. Exploring it and the new enemy type, which are skeletons, which only die from headshots. It's very cool. It's very fast-paced, and it's very insane. But, like I said, the story of this, of finding Scarlet's father, feels very weak. I feel like the Chaos storyline might have been a better introduction in maybe Cold War, in sticking with those characters, considering what happens in the main story. It's also weird that we have the conclusion to the main story in this one, but Chaos felt like it was getting more focus, especially with the release of 2 Chaos maps at the beginning. So let's talk about the main story. So we get Blood of the Dead, Classified, Alpha Omega, and Tag der Untoten. These 4 maps are the conclusion of the main Zombies story. They are also fill in the gap, and as I've said, they're unfortunately all remakes. They're remakes of stuff that was not in Chronicles, and we never got remakes of Transit, Die Rise, or Buried after this. So, you Classified as 5, Blood of the Dead is Mob of the Dead, Alpha Omega is Nuketown, and Tag der Untoten is Call of the Dead. So you start out with Blood of the Dead, which takes place between not Shinonuma, I'm sorry. It's hard to remember all these map names at this point. Takes place between killing Takeo and going to Grad Krovi. Zetsubo no Shima. It goes between Zetsubo and Grad. And basically the whole story is that the Chronorium has changed, which is the book that basically tells the entire story of zombies. Richtofen needs to sacrifice himself, and we get a new Richtofen. This takes place in Mob of the Dead around the same time, where there's the loop and everything like that. So gameplay is pretty much the same as Mob of the Dead, except you don't turn into ghosts. You use your shield to do so, or to do ghost stuff. Brutus is still there, everything like that. There are a few new rooms and a few new setups, and dog rounds. Every main storyline has dog rounds for some reason. Nothing original, just dog rounds. After that is Classified, which is based off of 5. Again, a little bit more rooms are added, but it is the same exact thing. Almost identical gameplay. You're playing as Ultimus in this, just dog rounds instead of the scientist. This takes place right before 5, I believe, and it's a alternate timeline-ish sort of thing, but it isn't, of Ultimus accidentally getting to the Pentagon instead of going to the moon. So this takes place right after Shangri-La. And why I say it's kind of alternate timeline is because they get captured. So yeah, that's where it's like weird and confusing. After that is Alpha Omega, which is the Nuketown remake, except it is a lot more expansive, and it does only feel like a small part of it is Nuketown. There's an underground bunker city. There's a entrance to Nuketown area. The Nuketown area is still there, but it is very expansive and nice. And you can play as both Primus and Ultimus in this, which is very cool to see the interactions between Primus and Ultimus characters. I don't think that you can play as like both same characters at the same time of like Primus Richtofen and Ultimus Richtofen. I don't think you can have in there. When I played, it was Ultimus Richtofen, Ultimus Tank, Primus Nikolai, and Primus Takeo, which honestly are the best characters on each side. But yeah, so that was fun. There's also Nova Crawlers and other stuff like that. I believe the Wendigo, or whatever it was called from Transit, is in it as well. And there's callbacks to Transit in it, which is pretty cool. However, again, just a remake, but a better remake. Probably my favorite map in the game. And next is our finishing map of the entire storyline, which is Tag der Untoten, the Call of the Dead remake. You play as Victus. Your goal is to get the Agarthan device, as Nikolai kills off every other Ultimus and Primus character than himself. It was cool that it was Call of the Dead. I just feel that it's weird that the final story is with Victus. I mean, maybe they should have switched Alpha Omega and Tag der Untoten, just so that way you can have a proper send-off with the characters and not have them in the backseat as what is arguably, I did enjoy Victus, but what is arguably the unliked cast compared to Primus and Ultimus. I do feel that that was kind of a strange send-off. It was nice to have those characters, but it shouldn't be for the final map. So, let's talk about game mechanics. The original perks are gone. Most of the original perks are gone. The perk system is rebuilt. Gobblegums are now elixirs. The perk system is terrible. I half the time didn't even use perks. You automatically get a specialist weapon. You can auto heal now. They made it simpler, but they also made it harder because zombies come at you faster, stronger, everything like that. And also the guns feel like they don't hit like they usually do, even the ray gun. And the rounds are faster. For example, I know for a fact playing Der Eisendrache, or actually Grod Krovi times you. So playing Grod Krovi, 10 rounds takes about 30 to 35 minutes. Playing any map in Black Ops 4 Zombies, round 25 takes about 20 minutes. So it's very fast paced and stuff like that. What I thought was a really nice addition to this, which I did for each map, was you can have bots play with you. And the bots are actually pretty competent. I thought that was nice to be able to kind of alleviate off of yourself so you can explore, you can try to figure stuff out, because the zombies will focus on the other characters. There are some glitchy moments. The first time I ever tried this was the first time I played Tag der Untoten, just to kind of mess around. And whatever reason, all 3 bots got stuck on the lighthouse and would not move. And then there's one other time in Alpha Omega where Tank kind of ran into a wall and stayed there for 3 rounds. But other than that, I mean, it's that, and then also, you will always be 4th place. These bots will always play better than you, and they will steal your kills. They also just shoot automatically at a zombie's direction, so they'll be shooting at a wall as a zombie's walking up to a barrier. But yeah, so I thought that was a really nice inclusion, just so that way you can explore and stuff like that if you're playing on your own. So altogether, multiplayer, I give a 8 out of 10. I did really enjoy my experience, besides I can't really factor in people playing better than me. For Blackout, a 1 out of 10. In Zombies, I give a 6 out of 10. My big rant for this is Black Ops 4, you have to pay $50 extra for the full experience. You cannot buy maps individually besides classified. You must buy the Seasons Pass to play everything. And I felt like that really hindered it, especially since majority of the maps are remakes. I am giving Black Ops 4 a 4 out of 10 for that alone. I should not be having to pay over $40 for a 5-year-old game that gets released yearly. So, and I mean that as in I would pay for JoJo, obviously I think I paid $30 and that's a 5-year-old game, 6-year-old game, stuff like that, but for a game that literally is kind of re-released every year, shouldn't have to pay that amount of money. So Black Ops 4, 4 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's That Nerd Ryan.